The courtroom is quiet. Too quiet. Even the old fluorescent lights above seem to hum a little softer, as if the walls themselves are holding their breath. Seated alone at the defense table is 17-year-old Malik Johnson. Hands folded. Shoulders back. But his eyes, they say everything. Not fear exactly, but something sharper. Wary. Watchful. Like someone who's seen too much too soon. Across the room, Judge Henry Calloway chuckles under his breath, flipping lazily through a manila folder. He looks like he's skimming a bad novel. His robe's wrinkled, his glasses sliding low on his nose, and the way he smirks when he finally looks up, well, that says everything too. Ah, the honor student, Judge Calloway mutters, sarcasm dripping from his voice like motor oil. Caught stealing laptops from his own school. How poetic. A few scattered laughs ripple from the courtroom gallery. One of the bailiffs chuckles. Even the prosecutor, Ms. Langley, smirks behind her notes. Malik doesn't react. Doesn't blink. He just keeps his gaze steady on the judge like he's studying a puzzle with missing pieces. Calloway leans forward. Tell me, Mr. Johnson, how does a young man with a 4.2 GPA, perfect attendance, and a glowing recommendation from the school principal end up arrested on school property after hours with 3 brand new laptops in his bag? Malik finally speaks. His voice is calm. Controlled. I didn't steal anything, Your Honor. Oh, of course, the judge says with a theatrical gasp. A misunderstanding, right? Maybe the laptops magically walked into your backpack? The courtroom laughs again. Malik still doesn't flinch. Judge Calloway sits back with a smug expression. Let me guess, you want to represent yourself? Give us some kind of courtroom drama? Save us all from your obvious guilt? Malik shakes his head. No, sir. My attorney will be here shortly. The judge shrugs, unconcerned. Well, while we wait, let's entertain the facts. Ms. Langley, would you please? The prosecutor rises and begins detailing a narrative that sounds airtight on the surface. Surveillance footage of Malik entering the school late at night, campus security finding him near the computer lab, and 3 unaccounted-for devices found in his backpack. It's all too neat, too perfect. But what no one in the room knows, what they can't know, is that Malik has already started unraveling the story from the inside. He's been piecing together inconsistencies since the moment he was handcuffed. He knows what time he walked in. He knows what security camera angles are missing. And he knows that none of this adds up. Because he wasn't trying to steal anything, he was trying to fix something. Before anyone else can speak, the heavy wooden courtroom doors creak open. All heads turned out, in walks a sharply dressed man in a tailored gray suit, briefcase in one hand, trench coat folded over the other. He walks with quiet authority, shoes clicking confidently on the tile. He doesn't rush. Doesn't scan the room. His eyes go straight to Malik, and then to the judge. Judge Calloway squints. His smirk vanishes. The man walks directly to the defense table and places a reassuring hand on Malik's shoulder. Apologies for the delay, he says, placing his briefcase down and opening it with a clean click. Traffic was heavy. Calloway leans forward. And you are? The man removes a document from his briefcase and hands it to the bailiff, who quickly carries it to the judge. Attorney Marcus R. Johnson, father of the defendant, former federal prosecutor, currently lead counsel for the statewide Innocence Project. The silence is instant and sharp. Langley lowers her file. The gallery murmurs. Even the smirking bailiff from earlier suddenly finds the floor tiles fascinating. Judge Calloway's jaw twitches. Well, he says slowly, glancing over the papers. This is unexpected. Marcus Johnson buttons his suit jacket and faces the judge directly. What's expected, he says coolly, is a fair hearing. My son was wrongfully arrested based on circumstantial evidence, shoddy surveillance coverage, and a school administrator who, if the court permits, has a history of targeting black students with disciplinary action disproportionately. Malik watches as his father slides into rhythm like it's muscle memory. Calm, direct, relentless, Judge Calloway tries to recover. Let's not jump to conclusions. The prosecution has made a compelling— No, Marcus interrupts gently but firmly. The prosecution has made a convenient assumption. But if the court allows, we'd like to submit our own timeline of the night in question, including access logs from the building, internal security inconsistencies, and a sworn statement from a janitor who saw someone else carrying a laptop bag before Malik ever entered the building. Calloway opens his mouth, but Marcus isn't finished. And perhaps most concerning, Your Honor, we have reason to believe that the school's network was accessed remotely just minutes before Malik was detained, something only someone with admin-level access could have done. The temperature in the room shifts. Ms. Langley pales. Judge Calloway swallows hard. That's quite an accusation. Marcus nods. It is. But I don't make them lightly. I came here prepared to clear my son's name. And if necessary— He pauses, eyes narrowing. To expose anyone complicit in covering up the truth. He turns to Malik, nods once, and takes his seat beside him. Judge Calloway stares at the two of them, the son who never raised his voice, and the father who just turned the entire case upside down. Before he can respond, a bailiff rushes to the judge's side with a yellow note freshly delivered from outside. He reads it once. Then again. His face goes pale. The courtroom watches as Judge Calloway's fingers twitch nervously over his gavel. The note simply reads, FBI has opened an investigation into the school's IT administrator. Proceed with caution. And then, for the first time since the hearing began, Judge Calloway doesn't look like he's in control. His fingers tighten around the bailiff's note, knuckles widening. A bead of sweat forms at his temple. But Marcus Johnson, Malik's father, sees it all. He leans back slowly in his chair, calm, observant. Like a lion watching its prey try to decide whether to fight or run. Your Honor, Marcus says, is there something the court should be aware of? Calloway clears his throat. The court has received new information that may be pertinent to the case. We will recess for 10 minutes while I review this. The gavel cracks down. But even as the room begins to shuffle, the atmosphere is heavy. People sense it now. This isn't just a case about a stolen laptop. This isn't about a kid breaking into a school. Something deeper is at play, something the system tried to bury. Malik leans toward his father. You think he's scared? Marcus doesn't answer right away. He keeps his eyes on Calloway as the judge retreats to his chambers. 10 minutes later, the court reconvenes. The judge returns, but the confidence in his stride is gone. His face is pale, shoulders stiff. As a result of new developments, Judge Calloway begins carefully. This court is suspending the current charges pending further investigation. Mr. Johnson, you and your son are free to go. Gasps ripple across the room. Malik's breath catches in his throat. His dad gently places a hand on his shoulder, but his eyes remain on the judge, studying every move. Calloway bangs the gavel again. This hearing is adjourned. The courtroom erupts. Whispers. Phones pulled out. Journalists from local blogs already typing headlines. Malik and Marcus make their way through the crowd, but before they reach the door, Mr. Johnson, the judge calls out, voice taut. A word. Privately. Marcus looks at his son. Wait outside. I won't be long. Inside Judge Calloway's chambers, the heavy oak door shuts behind Marcus. Calloway stands behind his desk, arms folded tightly across his chest. You're making enemies, Marcus, he says, voice low. Marcus raises an eyebrow. Truth tends to do that. You think this ends with your son walking out of here? Calloway hisses. There are people who don't want this case reopened. People with real power. Marcus steps closer. Is that a threat? No, Calloway mutters. It's a warning. You don't know who you're dealing with. I know corruption when I see it, Marcus replies coldly. And I know cover-ups. The more nervous you get, the more I realize we're on the right track. Calloway doesn't respond. Marcus turns to leave, but before opening the door, he pauses. Oh, one more thing, Henry. The FBI won't just be looking at the school's IT department. The judge looks up, startled. They'll be looking at every judicial decision you've made in the last 5 years. Outside the courthouse, Malik and Marcus step into the cool air, cameras flashing, voices calling out. But Marcus doesn't stop. They keep walking until they reach the car.as. They pull away. Malik finally exhales. You saved me. Marcus shakes his head. No. You saved yourself? You never gave in. I just gave them a reason to listen. Malik nods, but there's a flicker of something behind his eyes. Not peace. Not yet. Dad, there's something I didn't tell the court. Marcus glances at him. What is it? The night I was arrested, I saw someone leaving the computer lab before me. Someone with a keycard. Marcus frowns. Why didn't you mention that? I didn't recognize them at first. But later, I went back through old school photos. I found him. Mr. Dwyer. The assistant principal. Marcus slams the brakes. What? I think he planted the laptops. And he knows I saw him. Marcus's mind races. And if he knows you saw him, he won't stop now. Not until he's sure you can't talk. Later that night, somewhere deep in a dark office, Assistant Principal Dwyer stares at a screen full of surveillance footage. He watches Malik walk through the halls. Watches himself appear in the frame minutes before. His hands tremble slightly. Then he pulls out his phone. It's me, he whispers. They're getting close. A pause. I don't care what you have to do. Just make sure that boy never testifies. He hangs up, and somewhere across town, a black SUV with tinted windows pulls up outside Malik's home. Inside it, a man in a dark suit flips open a file. Target acquired. The SUV sits quietly across the street from Malik's home, its engine idling low. Inside, the man in the dark suit, Agent Rourke, scrolls through the file illuminated by his dashboard screen. Malik's face. His school records. Police reports. Photos from the courtroom. But most chillingly, a photo of Marcus Johnson, circled in red. Ex-CIA. Rourke mutters to himself. No wonder the judge looked like he saw a ghost. He glances toward the house. The living room light is still on. Movement inside. A shadow. Malik. Rourke leans back. This kid, he knows something. He lifts a burner phone to his ear. Confirming target location, he says flatly. Do we proceed tonight? A static pause. Not yet, the voice on the other end says. We want leverage, not a body. Rourke narrows his eyes. And if the leverage doesn't work? Then make it look like an accident. Inside the house, Malik lies awake in bed, staring at the ceiling. His phone is beside him, screen cracked from being dropped during the arrest. He's replaying it all in his mind, the judge's smirk, the cold jail cell, the public humiliation, and now, the feeling that something worse is coming. Down the hall, Marcus sits at the kitchen table with a laptop and a glass of water. Files spread out before him, images of Mr. Dwyer, the assistant principal. Old financial records. School board meeting transcripts. Even a few classified documents he probably shouldn't still have access to. He's piecing it together. Dwyer is connected to a private tech contracting firm, Omni Vault Systems. A firm that's received millions in school security grants across the state. But they don't just install cameras. They mine data. Student data. Jesus, Marcus whispers, clicking through encrypted emails. They're targeting inner-city schools. Tracking kids. Framing them. Feeding data to law enforcement for preemptive profiling. It's a pipeline data trap, and Malik had wandered straight into it. The next day, back at school against Marcus's better judgment, Malik returns to class. It's what they want me to be scared of, he told his dad. But if I hide, they win. The halls are quieter than usual. Students stare, whisper, then quickly look away. Some fist bump him with quiet respect. Others just look confused. He passes Mr. Dwyer in the hallway. The man stops. Smiles. But his eyes say something different. I heard the charges were dropped, he says casually. Yeah, Malik replies, jaw tight. Funny how the truth works like that. Dwyer's smile doesn't move. Truth is flexible, he he says, brushing invisible lint off his suit. Especially when no one's around to verify it. Malik keeps walking, but his skin crawls. At lunch, Malik finds his friend Andre in the cafeteria. You're not safe here, man, Andre says. Dwyer's been asking about you. I heard from one of the janitors. They were scrubbing footage from that night. You weren't even supposed to be in that hallway. Malik stares at him. They set me up. Andre nods slowly. They're trying to bury this. Whatever you saw, whatever your dad's digging into, it's bigger than just you. Malik's phone buzzes. A text from his dad. Leave school now. Don't go out the front. Meet me at the rear lot. Now. His stomach drops. Then, another buzz. Airdrop request. No sender name. He hesitates, and accepts. An image appears on his screen. It's a live photo. Him and Andre. Taken from inside the cafeteria. Someone's watching them right now. Malik sprints to the back of the school, heart pounding. The lot is mostly empty, except for Marcus's car at the far end. He reaches for the door handle, then freezes. A small red dot flickers across the hood. Sniper laser. Marcus yells. Down! Malik dives to the ground just as a loud crack rips through the air. The windshield explodes. Screams echo in the distance. Marcus grabs Malik, dragging him behind the car. We're compromised, he growls, pulling out his phone. They're not trying to intimidate anymore, they're trying to erase. Hours later, at a safe house, Malik sits on a worn-out couch, blanket over his shoulders. The room is quiet except for the hum of old electronics and Marcus typing rapidly at an encrypted terminal. Why now? Malik whispers. Why go this far? Marcus exhales. Because you saw too much. Because I started pulling threads that lead straight to them. And because this isn't just about you. He turns the laptop around. On screen is a map. Dozens of pins across the country. All these kids, falsely accused. Expelled. Arrested. All connected to schools partnered with OmniVault. All cases overseen by judges tied to the same donors. It's a system. A pipeline, Malik murmurs. A business, Marcus corrects. And they made the mistake of thinking no one would notice. Suddenly, a warning alert flashes on the screen. Marcus jumps up. They found us. Malik stands, eyes wide. Where do we go? Before Marcus can answer, the lights cut out. Pitch black. Then, the soft hum of tires on gravel. A vehicle is outside. Then another. Then three. Marcus pulls Malik into the hallway. Go to the basement. Lock the door. Don't open it unless it's me. But Dad! Now! As Malik runs, the front door shatters open behind him. Heavy boots thunder inside. Voices. Secure the perimeter! Get the kid, he's priority one. A flash grenade rolls into the hallway. Then boom. The courtroom was buzzing with tension. Judge Whitmore sat stiffly on the bench, his gavel resting heavily in his hand. The once smug smirk he wore had long disappeared, replaced now by a pale, almost sickly grimace. Across from him, Jamal stood tall, flanked by his father, Major Harris, a man whose service record and unwavering spirit had already captured national attention. The entire country was now watching. News cameras, civil rights lawyers, high-ranking officials, and even veterans who had served with Harris packed the courtroom. Everyone was here, demanding justice, not just for Jamal, but for every young black man who had ever been disrespected, dismissed, or dehumanized. The prosecutor nervously cleared his throat. Your Honor, given the misconduct exposed in your court proceedings, racial bias, unfair treatment, emotional abuse, we are filing a formal motion to dismiss all charges against Jamal Harris, with prejudice. Judge Whitmore gripped the edges of his bench. He had no choice. The evidence was overwhelming. His career, once a symbol of power, now lay in ruins before the public eye. I hereby dismiss all charges, he muttered, voice shaking. You are free to go, Mr. Harris. A gasp rippled through the courtroom. Tears welled up in Jamal's eyes as he turned to hug his father, who pulled him into a tight embrace. For once, justice had been served, And not just the kind written in dusty law books, but the kind that echoed from the heart of a father fighting for his son. As Jamal and his father made their way out of the courtroom, the reporters flooded toward them, flashes and questions flying everywhere. One reporter shouted, "Major Harris! How does it feel to see your son vindicated?" Harris, always composed, smiled warmly. "It's not just my son who was vindicated today," he said. "It's every young man who's ever been told he was less than enough. This isn't just our victory, it belongs to all of us." The crowd erupted in applause. It was more than a legal win, it was a cultural moment. An undeniable shift. Meanwhile, Judge Whitmore sat frozen behind the bench, staring at the wreckage he had created. A formal judicial review was already underway. Investigations into his past cases had begun. His entire career was crumbling, brick by hateful brick. 2 weeks later, the headlines were relentless. Racist judge removed from bench after public outcry. Veteran's son inspires nationwide movement for courtroom reform. Major Harris calls for new civil rights legislation. Jamal had become something of a national symbol, an unwilling, but powerful figure in the fight for change. Invitations poured in, interviews, speaking engagements, scholarships. And while Jamal was grateful, he stayed grounded. He just wanted to live his life, go to college, and become someone who made a difference. He often told reporters, "I don't want to be famous. I want to be free." On a cool evening, Jamal and his father stood overlooking the river near their home. The sun was setting, painting the sky in brilliant colors, fiery oranges and peaceful purples. Jamal turned to his dad. "You ever think about what would have happened if you didn't walk into that courtroom?" Major Harris chuckled softly. "Every day," he said. "But son, I would have fought for you in every courtroom, every battlefield, every street corner. You're my legacy. You're my whole life." Jamal smiled, feeling the weight of everything they had endured, but also the strength they had built together. He looked out over the water, the reflection of the sunset dancing across the waves. "I guess, sometimes the only way to beat the system," Jamal said, "is to make them see who you really are." His father clapped a hand on his shoulder. "And never forget," Major Harris said firmly, "you are not who they say you are. You are who you decide to be." The two men stood there, side by side, strong and unbreakable, two warriors in different battles, bound by love, history, and a fight that was far from over. But for now, they had won this round. They had claimed their dignity. They had changed lives. And in the heart of America, the echoes of their stand would ripple for generations to come. Subscribe to Crime Vault for more powerful true stories you won't find anywhere else.